The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe McGuire, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
If you own a business, you know how difficult it can be to get new clients. But what if you had your own sales team? B&I Somerset invites you to join us on Thursday, September 23rd to learn about how B&I Somerset provides a positive, supportive, and structured environment for the development and exchange of quality business referrals. Struggling to find more paying clients or want to take your business to the next level? Our group of business owners have passed hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business to one another. Want to know how we did it? On Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m., we're hosting an event on Zoom where we show you exactly how B&I Somerset generated client after client for one another and how you could begin to apply the same simple steps to your business too. The reality is, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. B&I Somerset is incredible for building your personal brand and ensuring you are known. Join Somerset B&I's Visitor Day on Thursday, September 23rd at 8 a.m. via Zoom. All are welcome. For more info, visit bniwne.com/CT-Northern-Somerset-BNI. Businesses thrive by changing when the world changes, and the world is changing. B&I Somerset can make sure you don't get left behind.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Drawing About the G-Men, Giants Football Podcast. Big Jace, Joe Quiet, Sean Sandlin, King's A. And we had week one of the NFL season, and the Giants disappointed in a 13-27 loss. I mean, that 13 isn't really 13. A touchdown at the end, garbage time. But, I mean, I don't know. I like what Daniel Jones did. That fumble, I'm not mad at that fumble. Zay and I were going back and forth before the show started. I'm not mad at that fumble because, I mean, if he was getting sacked and fumbled, I'd be upset. But he's diving forward, going forward for the first down. I'm not mad at that. Yes, maybe should he have slid? Yeah. Was it fourth down? Did you really need to reach out and go for that? No. Could he have taken the safe route and slid? Probably yes. But he looked great. That pass to Sterling Shepard, that pass to Darius Slayton right off the rip, I mean, it was a flag. Him noticing the flag, going long, getting it. I liked a lot of what I saw from Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones is the person that people should be mad at. I'm mad at Joe Judge because there was definitely chemistry issues. And that's what's going to happen when you're not playing in the preseason, when you're not practicing. All those questionable guys. I mean, Kenny Golladay started getting it going late, but it was late. It was too late. But that's all I'm going to say for right now. Joe, what'd you think of the game?
I didn't realize Kenny Golladay was even in the game until the fourth quarter. That's when I remembered he was actually there. This Daniel Jones fumbling while going to the ground, as often as it's happened, is embarrassing. I mean, that is embarrassing. You don't know how to fall with a ball? What are you, an idiot?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for saying
this can't happen anymore. That's a
agree.
rookie mistake. You're not a rookie anymore. Hold on to the goddamn ball. The defense did not play well.
No.
And this is, again, I mean, Zay accurately predicted Teddy Bridgewater was going to come out throwing like, I don't know. He was good.
He like Teddy Brady. That's what he looked like to me. Teddy Brady
He looked pretty good out there. The Giants were on the field for nearly 37 minutes of the game. And for about an hour of real time from the end of the second quarter till they got the ball in the third quarter. That's unacceptable. If you go through the box score, the 3 and outs are generally responded to by Denver scoring. If Daniel Jones can run a 5 or 6 play drive, the Giants' chances of stopping the defense, and this was a trend that we saw all last season, all those 3 and outs kill the Giants. That it's too much on the defense. Listen, all the problems we knew we had are the problems that we had. The offensive line, and if you watch the Philadelphia Atlanta game, there is a worse offensive line than the Giants. It's in Atlanta. And I don't know how Matt Ryan's going to survive. I really don't. We knew that was a problem. We knew there was no pass rush, and there wasn't. And we saw a stupid play by the second round pick. What's his face? Ozelar. Yeah. Stupid penalty. I mean, Joe Judge, disciplined team, really? Making stupid, sloppy mistakes, as usual. No pass rush. Defense on the field too much. Daniel Jones fumbling. This is the recipe for every single Giants loss that we've seen since Joe Judge took over. So nothing about this surprised me.
Damn. All right, Sean, how you feel about it?
This defense was terrible. I mean, we talked about time of possession a lot last week, and I think it had to do more with the defense than it did the offense this week. They could not get off the field to save their lives. I mean, it was third down conversion after third down conversion. The Broncos were just eating up time with these long drives. They had a 15-play drive, a 16-play drive, a 10-play drive. All that ended in scores and all went, close to 10 minutes. And, I mean, Joe said it was just sloppy play from this defense. It was – we did get some pressure on the quarterback, but we never got home. Bridgewater always slipped out of there and made a play. Missed tackles. Joe mentioned the dumb penalties that happened. It was inexcusable, and we did pretty good against the run all day up until that Melvin Gordon 70-yard run where he broke away and obviously put the nail in the coffin. But it just continued to pile on for this defense, and obviously that's not the performance I wanted to see. We talked about how good the secondary was going to be coming into the year, and they did not perform well at all. Even when Jerry Jeudy went out of the game, they still had backup tight ends beating them. Noah Fant had a great game. Tim Patrick had a touchdown. So overall, a terrible performance from this defense. I definitely expected a lot better. And for the offensive wise, I mean, I agree. I think Daniel Jones had a good game. I'm upset that he fumbled that ball. I think everyone should be. I don't really agree with you on that, Jace. But overall, I do agree though that he had a solid game. I mean, the offense, aside from the 3 and out, where they're at their own 5-yard line, and a couple other 3 outs, I think that the offense looked good. Sterling Shepard had a great game. The pass protection was a lot better than I thought it would be. Andrew Thomas didn't give up a sack all day. He looked really well, which is one positive you could take away. But the running game, which I thought would be the strength of his offensive line, had no running holes for Saquon. His name was barely mentioned all day. I felt bad for him his first game coming back. He doesn't have any opportunity to make any plays for this offense because, one, the play calling. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that too. Jason Garrett, just awful. I don't know why he's still the offensive coordinator for this team, but it was disappointing. I expected a lot more. I mean, I was very frustrated watching on Sunday, especially when, we had chances. We had a lead 7-3 late in the second half. And then, we give up that drive to end the half where the Broncos score, and then after that, it kind of just all came crashing down. So definitely not the performance I wanted to see, but the Giants are going to have to turn it around quick. They need an answer for tomorrow night because you can't fall to 0-2 for yet another season. It cannot happen. These starts, just can't have it. It detriments the whole rest of the season when you start off a season 0-2, because then it goes on to 0-5 and 0-6, and we've seen this story before. So the Giants have to turn around for tomorrow night.
Yeah, and especially in a division that is as close as the NFC East, starting in that hole is really, really bad. But you're talking about play calling. Zay, we spoke a little bit before the show. You hated the play calling, and you're already calling for Jason Garrett's head?
It's in my opinion, if you're going to make the huge indictment on Daniel Jones and say that this has to be the year that he tries to turn it around, then I think we actually have to give him a chance. And that offense, I don't think it had rhythm. It didn't look good. It didn't look balanced at all. The play calling was iffy. I didn't like how they used Kadarius Toney. I think some of that was useless to line him up next to him in the backfield and then try to sling him out like we do with any other wide receiver. I just thought, to me, was foolish. I thought we were going to get creative and do other things, but that's just more of what we've seen in the past years. And that's what the Giants continue to show us. And that's why I called the game last week 24-10. I think I said they were going to lose. And it was damn near 27-7 before that touchdown as the teams were walking off the field. This is becoming the same story and over again. And I think you have to give Daniel Jones a chance, give him somebody who's going to get creative and make this offense come to life. There's no life in it. He's throwing jump balls to the front pylon instead of the back pylon where you have a clear, obvious height advantage. The team's effort is gross. McKinney did miss the sack, I think it was, on Teddy Bridgewater. He caught the stiff arm. No other teammate.
And then Blake Martinez missed that tackle on the same play.
No other teammate there to back him up. There's no effort behind this team. There's no fire behind this team. And I think it stems back to that offense just being so entirely lackluster. There's no energy there. And I think we need someone to come in and interject life into this offense, or the Giants will continue to be this team that doesn't get their first win until 4 or 5 games in. It's just what it's going to continue to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, talk about interjecting life. We all thought that Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay were going to be those guys, but it's all about chemistry. This whole game was, and when they weren't practicing, they weren't playing in the preseason. That there's a reason why Daniel Jones kept throwing it to Sterling Shepard. He was the only consistent wide receiver he had all training camp. So I will give them time. I don't want to see the Giants go down 0-2. Like you said, Sean, that's rough. But it's going to take time, and it's going to take time because Joe Judge wouldn't play guys in the preseason. Then it wasn't working towards that chemistry especially with all these guys. So I'm more pissed off at Joe Judge than anything. Also, talking about that defense was the Giants. I praised the secondary so much last week, and it made me look so stupid. The Broncos could have scored 40 on that defense if they weren't just giving the ball to Javonte Williams as much. Like, Teddy Bridgewater was just picking apart the zone, picking apart everything, and that was despicable. I mean, it's upsetting, but Joe, can the Giants bounce back from this? When does the issue actually come? What week, how much longer this till we start firing guys and start thinking Jason Garrett isn't the guy, Joe Judge isn't the guy?
Well, the Giants are very fortunate that their opponent tomorrow evening is the only team that Daniel Jones seems to dominate. And it's the team they seem to somehow come out on top of. And it always seems, too, as though Washington, whenever they face the Giants, have recently suffered some turmoil. And in this case, obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick being lost for the season. So, the Giants, is this a winnable game? Yeah, I mean, it is. But, I read earlier today that the Giants were running sprints today. I think that's really good. I think Joe Judge, again, we talk about the Belichick school and the discipline. I haven't seen anything like that You know, it's one thing if you're going to lose a tough game. It's another thing to play stupid. It's another thing to I mean, again, the defense, you said it, Sean. I mean, just picked apart. Couldn't get themselves off the field. It was bad. And it's supposed to be the strength of the team. I'll tell you this too, talking about that offensive line. I mean, they certainly failed to create anything on the ground, but Daniel Jones, believe it or not, was the least pressured quarterback in the NFL on Sunday.
Pass protection was honestly not bad, except for that one play where Matt Peart didn't know the play was going on.
Or Nate Soldier, you just let.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was an offside or something, dude. There's no way.
The sack, the Nate Soldier just let him walk back there and just have his way.
Yeah, they should have looked at that. That looks sketch to me.
I don't know what happened there, but it doesn't look good. And I wasn't a fan of Soldier being there in the beginning. I thought he should have been going a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know why Joe Judge likes to rotate the line that much. I mean, Ben Bredesen came in for Shane Lemieux a little bit into the game. He was going back and forth with Peart and Solder. I don't know. I think you should have a starting offensive line and stick with that. If you're going to make a change, maybe make it for the next week. But I don't. And he did it all last season too when he was rotating guys in there with Peart and Cam Fleming. He was rotating last year. I don't know why he likes to do that O-line rotation, but I think you need a set offensive line. I don't think it really gives guys good rhythm when they're in there with different guys on the line. I don't know. I don't like that philosophy from Joe Judge.
By the way, to that brilliant point I made earlier, Giants first drive, 6 plays, 34 yards. Denver goes 5 plays, 21 yards. Giants 3 and out. Denver 15-62. That's a field goal. The Giants scored a touchdown. Denver had the ball. They fumbled. After an 8-play, 71-yard drive, Giants get the ball back. 3 and out, Denver touchdown. I mean, every time you just send that defense right back out there without a chance to catch their breath and evaluate what just happened, you're setting this defense up to go out there and give up points. It happens all the time. They've got to figure out a way to get at least a first down on every drive. That should be their main motivation right now. Just get us a first down so we can run a 4-play drive because these guys need a minute. You get that far with this, and I'm telling you, they can really turn things around. But this defense can't be out there for 37 minutes. And a big part of that's going to be Daniel Jones taking this team on drives. And a big part of that's going to be Saquon Barkley, who is listed as questionable for tomorrow night. And I assume even if he plays, is still not going to be a featured back.
No. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But speaking of tomorrow night.
Well, real quick, let me ask you guys this. Would you rather Saquon not play? You run everything through Devontae Booker or Clement, whatever the case.
There's no Clement.
Sit this guy. Because, listen, I think if you've got Saquon in your backfield, he's going to get 11 touches and play decoy all day. I'd rather him not be out there.
I said it from the jump. The Giants should never rush him back. They should have took their time with Saquon, especially if you want him to be a long-term solution. Because, if you rush him back and he gets injured, what does that help us out this year? How does that help us at all? He hasn't been effective, and then if he gets back out there and he gets injured, then, that's a whole nother year without him. So, it makes no sense.
I'm fine with him coming back. I think regardless of whether he came back week 1 or week 15, he was still torn ACL is a big injury. He was going to be tentative. I did not see the explosion, and we shouldn't have expected to see it. Because if he,
who didn't look tentative? Christian McCaffrey didn't look tentative. 91 on the ground, 89 through the air. I mean, they went right to their guy. They ain't worried about this year, next year, or any year. They just want to win.
Jets, though. They're playing the Jets.
What's the difference? It's a professional football game.
I understand that, but
now it's professional football.
Defense is. The Broncos are,
and the Jets are probably going to win that division. So
you're telling me nobody on the Jets could hit Christian McCaffrey low and put him out for the season? Really? The Jets are that bad? Come on, Jace. You don't believe that.
No, I understand what you're saying, but still, it's still the Jets. Like, he's gonna have a good day, even if he's coming back from
The
whatever.
Giants would have had a much better time on offense if Saquon was actually out there as a threat.
For sure.
Like
Yeah,
a,
he didn't
like
have
a,
anywhere to
like
run
a
the ball,
weapon
though.
to be used. Well, right. That's what I'm saying. So why even have him out there?
They threw him the ball. He dropped
Well, I
it.
mean, because they were planning on getting some blocks up front. They didn't get the job done, though. That's
Well, then don't rotate your offensive line. The unit that needs
I just
rest
said that. Yeah, I
is the
agree.
defense, not the offensive line. They're the most rested group on the team. They only play about 9 plays a game. So I don't understand why they should need a rest.
What?
It's 3 outs all
He's
the time.
exaggerating. You
I'm
know what he
exaggerating.
means.
Okay. All right. I thought that was a
I mean, if
slight
you
at the
break it
offensive
down
line.
by ratio, it's probably about 9-1 with the other. I mean, dude, think about the total snaps that Denver took compared to the Giants in the first half, or going into midway through the third quarter. It was embarrassing to see the discrepancy.
Yeah.
And again, not only the actual game time of possession, but the physical time that the Giants were on the field. It was, I mean, my God, I don't even remember anything. I'll tell you what, I remember watching the Buffalo Bills. Like, sometimes that team, 40 minutes a game, they'd have the ball. And you'd run it all over you. And even that didn't seem as bad as what the Giants suffered through this week. Every time I looked up, the Denver had the ball again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
The Giants had one more offensive drive, yet the Broncos ran 9 more plays.
Dude, and again, think about how much of that was that garbage time at the end for the Giants. I mean, because it wasn't even close. You know, when you think about the actual game and before the win, I mean, the game was well over at that point.
Yeah, it was really 27-7. They let the Giants run right down the field on that last drive.
Last touchdown they scored, the teams were handshaking. Both teams were handshaking. It was ready to go home. It was over.
Yeah, it was a good stat pattern for old Danny Dimes.
I'm sorry, Jace. It's really a problem. And if he continues to fumble on his own, like no one's touching him at this point, and he's fumbling, that's becoming a bigger issue. I never
said it wasn't a problem. I just circumstantially, it was. I'm not that upset. Like if he were, I'm thinking if he did get sacked and lost it, I would be fuming. I'm not as upset as that.
I'd be okay if he got sacked and lost it. That would make sense to me.
What about 20-7? They get the ball in the fourth quarter. They go on this amazing 14-play, 69-yard drive. They eat up 6 minutes and 19 seconds. And then they turn it over on downs.
No.
I mean, that was it. That was the game. I mean, you ate up a tremendous amount of time to score no points.
You don't know what was.
And I'll tell you, I don't know what you guys thought about the play calling in the red zone. I mean, I can imagine how you guys feel. Atrocious. Every other team in the league converts on those. I mean, the play calling was unbelievably bad.
We're 31st in red zone scoring in the NFL. There's only 30.
Unbelievably bad.
We stink in the red zone.
I will say though, on that drive, on at the end of the game, one thing that I liked a lot, and I didn't see the rest of the game, was even though Daniel Jones had that fumble, when they were driving, he was getting going, and that's why he led the team in rushing. So I would like to see that more.
Jason, I mentioned to you before, preseason was going to be the thing that screwed up this team because coaches didn't know how to navigate this new preseason. You're minus a game, how many players are going to play, when they're going to play, and now we're seeing the effects of no chemistry. I said it before. You said it wasn't going to be a big thing. Now we see it. The Giants have no chemistry offense because they didn't play their players in preseason, and the ones that did play all didn't play together. So this is what we're dealing with.
Yes, and I do what you were saying, Sean. Speaking of chemistry, like with the shifting of the offensive line, that ruins chemistry just as much as someone being out, like not knowing not knowing the connection between your guys, not knowing that there's subtle things, subtle cues you can pick up with your guy that you understand when I need to take a block, when I need to bounce off and that stuff. And you can't get that when you're rotating guys. And the O-line, I mean, they're going to be rotating guys against some tough guys tomorrow night, Thursday night football at the Washington football team. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Can, Solder, Pert, and Thomas stop those boys, Sean, from getting to Daniel Jones?
Well, like I said before, I think Andrew Thomas showed some good signs, so I feel pretty confident about him. On the right side, though, I can't say I feel too confident. But the Chargers game that Washington had, they didn't really, make a whole lot of plays. So that is the strength of this team, and the pass protection for our offensive line looked good. So I'm hoping that could hold up tomorrow. If we can keep them at bay, then I think Daniel Jones has a good chance to go out again and have some more success in this game. It's just the defense, I think, has a favorable matchup going against Taylor Heineke. Even though he's looked pretty good as a backup, I think the Giants could hopefully go in and shut him down. And Washington football team, as good and as their defense is, as much hype as they get around this team, being predicted by a lot of people to win the NFC East until they beat the Giants. So I think the Giants turn around, and I think they get the win tomorrow. I mean, we've won our last 5 against Washington, 6 out of our last 7. This team just doesn't scare me at all until they come out and beat us and prove to me that I should be scared of them. I'm not gonna fall into that. So I think that the Giants will get the win tomorrow. Washington, you got to prove it to me. So I think the Giants will go out and get the dub.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I do. The thing though, with everyone loves Montez Sweat and Chris. What am I saying? Chase Young on the edge, but like I said at that last drive, Daniel Jones, if he can take off and run, when you got guys pushing up like that, those edge guys, they create holes between the guard or the center and the guard, or the guard and the tackle. So if Daniel Jones can take advantage of that pass rush, and do what he did on that last drive. I understand it was garbage time, but still, if he can get his legs going, I think the Giants are going to look like a completely different team. But Zay, how do you have it going?
Hold on to the ball, high and tight.
Well, if you know my picks, I have the Giants actually winning this, because I think if we lose to a football team with no name, with a quarterback we've never heard of before, I think that would probably be the lowest of the lows for this franchise. And I think we'd probably be on our way to probably 0-17. I think if we lose to Washington, for me, that's the low of the low for me. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Giants will prevail. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I think the Giants will pull it out, preferably by a field goal and cover like I want them to. So I have the Giants winning this game. I'm hoping things change. And if it doesn't, changes need to come early. You need to come fast. 17-game season, you don't want to wait around. You actually have a chance to make the playoffs starting off 0-2 for the first time in a very long time. It hasn't been that way in football for forever. So I think the Giants would have to take advantage and make some changes if they lose.
All right. Joe, is your defensive player of the year, Chase Young, just going to eat up that O-line? Or are the Giants going to be able to do what they have done the past 5 meetings?
I think the Giants are going to lose in similar fashion to what just happened against Denver. I think Washington's going to move the ball a little bit better than they do. I think they'll find the end zone. I think this defense will be on the field for too long. And I think the Giants will lose 23-10.
Okay. I will say, though, I said a lot. I'm pissed off at Joe Judge after that last game. But if this Giants team can make adjustments, it's all on the coach. It's all on Judge making those adjustments and getting everything right. So if they can come out and play the Washington football team like they had the past five meetings with them, then I am excited. And I think regardless, last week was week 1. It's only week 1 of an 18-week season. So a lot of stuff can happen. A lot of stuff can change. There are going to be highs and lows, and the Giants are just starting off at a low. But now,
that's for sure.
Yes. But we're going to stop talking about the Giants, and we're going to take a little break from Mosquito Shield.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade the Cesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
That is Mosquito Shield. Make sure you go to MosquitoShieldCT.com and sign up, and make sure you tell them the boys at John about the G-Men sent you. But now, we normally would go into picks, but I figured, hey, we got the best bets, and that's kind of like picks. So let's talk about news around the league and stuff going on. Starting off, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They looked really, really bad week one. Aaron Rodgers threw for 2 picks in a 3-38 loss to the Saints. So can Aaron Rodgers take this Monday night and make it as a get-right game for him, or is he just done with the franchise, over it? He just wants out, Joe. What do you think?
Well, earlier today on Keys to the City, we were talking about who had the biggest issues. And to me, it was the Packers by a mile. Aaron Rodgers looked like he'd rather be hosting Jeopardy. That team looked all out of whack. It was an embarrassing loss. They looked lifeless. They certainly don't look like a contender. I really think they got to – I mean, it was a complete failure. I mean, as bad as Aaron Rodgers was, the defense was a disaster. Just a terrible day in Green Bay. Got to take a real look in the mirror there. I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned about this game coming up against the Lions, who showed a tremendous amount of heart battling back against the San Francisco 49ers. That team had every reason to lay down and just continue getting beat down. And they really, I mean, came right down to the wire, 41-33. So, boy, couldn't the Lions use a big win over Green Bay early? Got them a little bit vulnerable right now. I think most people are like, Aaron Rodgers will be fine. You don't think that what happened Sunday was a problem? I mean, they look like they did not want to be there, him especially. Bad.
Did you guys, any of you guys hear the interview with Aaron Andrews? You take a listen, take a watch, because he's candid about the whole situation. He said himself, hey, you drafted this guy to replace me. Why not just put him in and let me go? That's an actual quote from the interview. So, I mean, I think it's pretty evident he's done. And, I mean, a little bit off topic here. Jameis Winston, 5 TDs. I told you he'd be an MVP candidate. A lot of people slacking him for the less than 200 yards, but that's because of the Packers offense. They were getting good field position. So I think Aaron Rodgers is done, and you spent a first-round pick on Jordan Love. You just got to hand him over it, because you with this whole thing with Aaron Rodgers, it ain't going anywhere. Sean, do you agree? Should they give Jordan Love the reins?
If this continues, them getting beat 38-3 every week, I think it should. But I think it might be. I think by the end of the season, midway through the season, we're going to look at this as an overreaction. I think the Packers will be fine. I think they'll be in playoff contention, but it definitely wasn't a great start. But I think it is a get-right game this weekend. I think that the Lions did show good heart and fight against the Niners, but I think the Packers are going to go in Monday night. And I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, because obviously the Packers have some situations that they have to deal deal with. But I think the Packers will go in and get the job done. Jeff Okudah just got lost for the season for the Lions, so that's another top cornerback for the Lions that will be out. More passing opportunities for the Packers. And like I said, I mean, if it continues, if they have a rough season, maybe then you put Jordan Love in, maybe at the halfway point of the season, maybe look for some trade bait if you can get Aaron Rodgers off the team because it's the last year of his contract. If you can get a huge haul for him just for a half a season of Aaron Rodgers, then I would definitely look into that. But for right now, I think you got to stick with Aaron Rodgers and see where it takes you because obviously he's still one of the best QBs in the league, and the Packers are a talented team. So just got to see if they turn it around, and I think it starts this Monday against the Lions.
Zay, we do posting up together, right? You, me, and Sean. Is Aaron Rodgers pulling a James Harden here?
No, I don't think he's pulling a James Harden here. And I think in the situation where James Harden wanted out, I don't think necessarily Aaron Rodgers wants out. I think we've known Aaron Rodgers to be one of those guys we can't read. Because a couple of months ago, he's talking about trade me, and then he's like, all right, I'll play. So he's one of these guys who I'm just not going to buy into how he feels at the moment. I have him bouncing back. I see them bouncing back, and I see them, like Sean said, we're looking back on this as an overreaction because Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys who's not going to go out like that. He's going to make sure that when he leaves, he makes sure you know what you lost when he leaves. He's going to be one of those guys. He's not going to be one of those guys where you're like, well, we're glad we got rid of him while he was crap. No. He's not going to do that, and he's not going to make a fool of himself to get out. I think Aaron Rodgers will bounce back. I think it was a bad week, but I think it was more of Jameis Winston being a better quarterback than Joe gives him credit for. I think I said before, they went the Taysom Hill way. That would have been ugly. I think Jameis proved us all wrong. You know, he is a 30 for 30 guy. We'll be lucky if Daniel Jones throws 30 ever in a year. He's thrown 30 his whole career, so don't knock Jameis. I think Jameis is still one of the good guys, and I think that's why that game ended the way it will. But I do see Aaron Rodgers bouncing back. He's not going out like that. Not at all.
I actually want to know. You guys, I'm going to give you guys homework if you're up to it. Watch the Aaron Andrews video and then let me know if anything changes with that. Because, I mean, I just don't see how if you have this many issues with the franchise, you can get it done. Unless, I mean, the only person who was able to do that was Michael Jordan. And sorry, Aaron Rodgers, you're not Michael Jordan. But now let's talk about another topic, the Titans' big three. Both Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones only combined for 136 yards. Should the Tennessee Titans fans be worried, Joe?
No, not yet. Arizona was insane. Chandler Jones, 5 sacks, 6 pressures, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, he was as disruptive a force as you could possibly be. And, you know, once it kind of got rolling, it got out of hand. Murray and Hopkins and company really just lit it up over there Sunday. I think Tennessee's going to be fine. This wasn't the start they were looking for, but they got punched in the face. I don't think they knew what they were getting into. They got to figure out a way to get A.J. Brown and Julio Jones the ball. The blocking up front wasn't great. Derrick Henry had nowhere to go. And, again, every time Tannehill dropped back, it was if it wasn't Chandler Jones, it was somebody up in his face. So they got to get better. I'm not worried about Tennessee at this point. There's a lot of teams I think that should be a lot more concerned. I will say this. Arizona should feel really great about themselves because, my goodness, they looked fantastic on both sides of the ball.
Hey, look what happens when you play your high draft pick. He barely got on the field last year, and he's leading the team in tackles in Isaiah Simmons. He was a beast, and he got a pick as well. But I'd say, I'm concerned a little bit about the running game because Derrick Henry – only 11 carries. I don't think that's enough. I understand they're getting at you, but Derrick Henry is a truck. He is a train. You got to keep going, and eventually they will break. So that's my big concern. And then that defense was problematic. But Sean, what did you think of this?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Titans. My best bet was over under 52 points. The Cardinals got their job done with the 38. I mean,
it was a combined 51. You were 1 point off.
Yeah, Titans just give me another field goal and I hit it. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's I think it is concerning. I think that I agree with Joe. I think they'll be fine eventually, once they get this offense rolling into the season. But and Derrick Henry only getting 11 carries. Obviously, that has to do with the situation in the game. You're down, 20 plus points for most of the game, so you're obviously going to be passing the ball most of the time. But I think the Titans offense will figure out. Taylor Lewan needs to figure it out. Obviously, just having a terrible day against Chandler Jones, and usually, he's regarded as one of the better tackles in the league, so he's got to step it up. But I think they'll be fine. I think that they'll start to run their own offense where Derrick Henry, like you said, is wearing down the defense, the opposing defense, and that they'll start to figure it out. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are probably the best receiver combo in the league, if not definitely right up there. So I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll be fine, but this definitely was concerning. But I think it's more of an indication that the Cardinals are for real this year, and the NFC West is loaded, and that they actually have a pretty good defense, and Kyler Murray is definitely right up there in MVP conversations. I know it's week 1, but if you were to take a poll after week 1, I think he'd be right there. So I think the Titans will be fine, but definitely not what you wanted to see in week 1 from this big trio in Tennessee.
Okay, what you got?
I kind of agree with Sean, kind of don't agree. I just think it's more of a situation of, like I said, this whole preseason thing and the 13 days between the last preseason game and the start of the season, there's been a lot going on. I think teams are just off to a weird start. I don't believe that the Cardinals are some good team that's just coming to fruition. I think, again, they just got the better of a team who got off to a rough start who will figure it out later on. I think the Cardinals, again, as we go on, we'll see they're just a middle-of-the-pack team, just like they had shown last year. And I think Tennessee will get back in their ways. But I guess it's too much to make an overreaction right now for anything because of how the way the season began. There's the odd things going on. Teams are still trying to figure things out and put things together. Julio Jones is a new piece to that team that wasn't there before, who they're adding on. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm not going to make much of it. It's just, like you said, it's a lackluster performance. It won't happen again. It's just early.
Yeah. All this stuff boils down to, it is early. It is only week 1. I mean, you can't – a lot of people are reaching and drawing weird conclusions, but it's week 1. You can't make those yet. But now let's move on to our picks, best bets. And Zay was the only one who won last week.
All right.
Zay taking the Steelers. I lost with you're right, Joe. The Falcons' O-line is atrocious, and
It's awful.
I did not expect the Eagles to be able to do what they did. And then Joe, you had Tampa, right? Plus
I
8,
did.
-8. That kept
Told
it
you.
close. And Sean, we already talked about it. 2 points off for
Just
the
one
over.
more point, and it's a push. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Show some pride, Titan.
Yeah,
All right.
Another team that's overachieving early, the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is early.
The
It's
Falcons
early.
might be the worst team in the NFL. I
Yes,
feel
sir.
pretty comfortable saying that.
All right, but now let's talk about this week. Zay and Sean going with the G-men to get it done. I love it. I mean,
It's a hope and a prayer.
I agree with that.
If you can't beat Washington by 3, we got a lot of work to do. As a team.
I think the Giants are going to win outright, and even if they don't, NFC East games, especially Giants-Washington, they're always close. I mean, neither of these teams are going to be putting a whole bunch of points on the board, so most likely it's going to be close. So even if they end up losing, I think that they'll lose by less than 3 or 3 points. So I feel pretty good about this one.
see, this is another, I'm pissed off that the Giants are underdogs here because
How could you? Did you win Sunday?
No, I understand.
You'd be underdog to a college team right now.
Listen, I understand, but still, 5 in a row. You obviously have this team's number. I don't see why you're not favored against them.
Because
You know what? No, hold on, not for nothing. It's funny because I literally and Zay completely disagreed with me. Nobody pointed this out. This idea that Green Bay's gonna be fine. Who are we just talking about? Tennessee is going to be, you know what I mean? You're right. Like, we depend and rely so much on what happened last season that we just assume everything's going to work out. And, in 2019, everybody was like, yeah, the Falcons are going to be fine. And they haven't been fine since. So it's easy to just assume these teams are going to bounce back. I think if you're Green Bay, there's a real issue there. I mean, it's got nothing to do with football skill and talent, but I think that's a team that's got some inner turmoil, and I think that's going to really start being problematic. As far as Tennessee goes, it's easy to assume. I mean, you had a guy like Julio Jones, that offense should be better, but now you have to find a way to make two wide receivers happy. You were struggling enough to get the ball to A.J. Brown. So, I don't know. We'll see if they can figure that out. I mean, it's going to be a process, and that line's definitely going to have to do a lot better than they did this week.
Yes, sir. But, Joe, let's get to your pick. Big number. You got the Browns getting it done by, I'm assuming, more than 2 touchdowns against the Texans.
Yeah, listen, I know everybody thinks Tyrod Taylor's awesome, and I applaud that effort. Jacksonville sucks, and Urban Meyer is not going to last the season in Jacksonville. It's already blowing up over there. So my thought is the Texans are as bad as we think they are. The Browns, I mean, took it to Kansas City for 3 quarters, and then they did what Cleveland does, but I think coming back against a team like the Texans, I think the Browns are going to put it together. They're going to turn things around because that's a really good football team.
Yeah, I like this pick. I mean, everyone is going to be, with such a big number, I'm sure a lot of people are, the square pick is to take the Texans, but because how well they looked. But yeah, the Browns just are on
Fool's gold.
Yes,
Fool's gold. Don't buy that Texans nonsense. Dude, Trevor Lawrence had 3 interceptions. They fumbled. They were awful. And let's be honest, and I know everybody wants to get all excited about Jameis Winston, MVP candidate. Don't fool yourself. If you think that guy can make that last for 17 weeks, you've got another thing coming. Listen, nice arm, stretches the field, but he has a tendency to put the football in the wrong team's hands. He does it a lot, and don't think the fact that they're throwing the football down the field a little bit more that he's not going to get exposed. We have these conversations all the time. He's not good when he throws the football down the field. He's a little erratic, and that's going to show up in New Orleans like it showed up before.
It's not because he got LASIK, but not only that, he had a season learning from one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in Drew Brees and one of the greatest coaches ever in Sean Payton. So that's why
he still doesn't have his top 2 receivers either, Michael Thomas and Traquan Smith.
I'd take him over Daniel Jones right now. He can at least hold on to the ball.
Yeah, okay. Well, my pick.
Hey, look, what you want? He does.
No, you know what? Listen, you guys keep talking about Jameis Winston as an MVP pick, so that in week 7 I can laugh in your faces.
The fact that you just jinxed the whole Cleveland franchise should make you warm.
Zay, I'll give you Teddy Bridgewater, but you're not getting Jameis Winston.
No, you're not giving Zay Jameis Winston. You're giving me.
Me too. I said Jameis.
No one's getting Jameis Winston. You're not getting him yet.
He's winning MVP.
Jameis Winston's got to do this for about 10 games before I'm buying it.
If you can get Mike Glennon, then me and Jace get Jameis Winston.
All right. My best bet, the Bears versus the Bengals. The Bengals had a great game against the Vikings. The Bears, it was rough against the Rams. But the Bengals, 5 sacks. Khalil Mack was a non-factor against the Rams. Rams have a good O-line. I think Khalil Mack eats. He has a Chandler Jones-esque, not that type of level, but similar. I think he eats. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of different Bears in his face, and I think the Bears get it done. And I think Andy Dalton just does enough. I think the defense is going to win them this game, and they're going to get it done by a touchdown. I'll give them a touchdown. All right.
I'm surprised the Bears are favored.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Khalil Mack saving his energy until Justin Fields is quarterback. Once he's quarterback, he's going ready to turn up. He ain't doing that right now. Andy Dalton.
Oh.
He's not wasting his energy. So Andy Dalton could lose him some games. He's not wasting his energy.
He's going to eat. I mean, 5 sacks again. The Vikings got 5 sacks on him. I mean, it's going to be a rough time in Cincy. And that week 1 was, I think, a little bit of a fool's gold, like Joe said. They were able to get it done, but that O-line is going to be a problem. But now, let's close it out. Fantasy locks. Zay and Joe, you guys took it with Tom Brady, the SpongeBob Square pick, but you can't pick Tom Brady for the rest of the year. I came in 3rd with Tyrod Taylor. Sean, I believe your laptop died, and you saw this, and you commented, Tyrod Taylor, what the hell, Jace?
Yep.
But he did better.
I'll take it. I mean, he's not going to do that again.
Wait. How is Trevor's pick of Lamar Jackson not a SpongeBob SquarePants pick that blew up in his face because Lamar only scored 15 pathetic points? By
Trevor's
the way,
not here. We can't.
By the way, may I share that I'm in like 10 fantasy leagues, so I'll spare you the details. But Monday night, Jared Jones and I were duking it out. He had Lamar Jackson on his team and Waller, the tight end for the Raiders. And I had the kicker, Carlson.
Oh,
and we were, we were locked at about 171 to 170. And Waller's lighting it up and Lamar's screwing it up left, right, and sideways. And we were tied 170 to 170. He had a .30. I had a .26. And that was after Lamar fumbled. So now we're within 0-4. They bring Carlson into the game. 43-yarder for the win. And that idiot, John Gruden's an idiot. Took too long to decide. Delay a game penalty. It's a 48-yarder. Carlson had just hit from 51. But he just done it. He decides not to kick the field goal. And I lose by .04.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a wild finish to that game.
Look, you got way more losses on your way. You got way worse losses on the way.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that was a Monday night game. But Joe,
real quick. I'm sorry. Quick side note. In our fantasy baseball league, we should mention this because everybody here is involved in that. Sean, really great job. Sean, you're in the playoffs. Did you just get bumped?
Nope, I'm in the semis.
You're in the semis, and Zay. It's Zay and me.
Oh,
and I'm off to a good start, Zay. I just want to put that out there.
Got that 06 Giants feeling. I'm one of the last 10 of 11. I knocked off the Giant last week.
Sean, what is it? Live score update. I'm up 30 points on the low ballers, and Joe is currently up 68 to 62.
Well, I haven't had nobody play yet. Nobody's playing yet, so it's coming.
Well, you don't want to see my team, so don't even worry about it. All right?
All right. I'm not a baseball guy, so let's get off baseball. Let's get back to the football.
Yeah, we can tell from your terrible fantasy team.
Yeah. Joe, are you going to go Carlson as your fantasy lock this week then?
Pretty funny. No, I am not, although he's a hell of a kicker. I am going to go with,
look at that.
And this is, I'll tell you what, Justin Herbert's coming off a pretty pedestrian week, did not play great. I don't want to say I have a formula, but I think that I'm going to pretty much be taking the quarterback that plays the Cowboys every week. That seems like that could be a safe play here. So I got Justin Herbert in a bounce back week, throwing for 420 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That was going through my head, but that's too much of a SpongeBob Square pick for me. But Sean, you got a pick from that same game. Boom.
Yeah, I went similar strategy here, Joe. I just went with the receiver that's going to be catching the balls from Justin Herbert. So Keenan Allen.
I'm going to send 13 your way for about 224 and 3 scores.
Perfect. That's all I need. He had 9 catches for 100 last week, and now he goes against a bad Cowboys secondary who got absolutely torched by the Bucs last week. And Keenan Allen, number 1 receiver for Justin Herbert, I think he's going to have a monster day. So hopefully this one doesn't blow up in my face like Stephon Diggs did in the Bills offense in week 1. So I hope that it goes well, and I think it will. I'm going with my guy Keenan Allen, and I'm sticking with Joe's strategy. I think going against the Cowboys is usually a pretty good bet. So I like it.
Damn, I just realized, I'll talk about it later. But Zay, we talked about him earlier. You're going, boom, Aaron Rodgers to bounce back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, and he will not go out like a punk. And everybody's probably going to bench him this week on their fantasy team and put their backup quarterback in, thinking Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a dang. So guess when he goes off for 40 points. So Just give me my second win already. It's going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is going to go off for 40 points against the Lions. He's going to make them look like they didn't exist. None of this beef existed, and we're going to move on with life and never talk about Jeopardy again. Well, and Aaron Rodgers and Jeopardy in the same sentence. Joe, I heard Joe earlier talking about Jeopardy. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. There are definitely problems outside of I don't know. I just don't know if Aaron Rodgers can bounce back. Like, there's way more than just on the field stuff.
Well, it's about the drama. It's about the drama.
Yeah. But I got that same game, that same team. But the Packers are going to win when they give the ball to Aaron Jones. Am I crazy? Did they not just pay this man a bunch of money? Am I wild? They did this and gave him only 5 carries?
It means nothing to a Giants fan. We paid Galladay and threw him the ball twice.
Okay.
2 minutes to go.
With 2 minutes left in the game.
No, they are going to win this game by running the football and giving Aaron Jones the football because Aaron Rodgers does not want to be there. I mean, when he threw the 2 picks, that's when you got to realize, hey, run the football. And I don't know. I like A.J. Dillon and Kylan Hill, but they're young. Aaron Jones has to take control of this team if this team wants to succeed. And the Lions, they are the Lions. They should win this game. I don't see the Packers winning this game. Matt LaFleur needs to make the game plan, run the football, because if Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the football to the other team, Aaron Jones is going to be able to get it done. So that's it. All right. We got the 2 Chargers against the Cowboys, and Zay and I are going 2 Packers against the Lions. So a little bit, not just the show, but which one of the teammates can do better. We'll see.
Find out next week on John About the G-Men.
Yes, sir. But that is going to do it for John About the G-Men this week. Let's hope that next week is not as, depressing with the Giants.
Dreadful, painful, depressing.
My Utes
embarrassing
lose to BYU, and then the day after. It was a tough weekend for me.
At least you're not an Ohio State fan.
Hey, but I picked Oregon. I was the only one on all 4 downs to pick Oregon. Just saying. But that's going to do it for John About the G-Men. Thanks again for Mosquito Shield for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you go to mosquitoshieldct.com. When you sign up, tell them John About the G-Men sent you. For myself, Big Jace, for Joe Aguirre, for Sean Scanlon, and King Zay. That's going to do it. We'll see you next week for more John About the G-Men. Take care and enjoy the football games. The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
My name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.